Hey guys, welcome back. The day has finally come. Floor pan in Nova. And that means I've got help today.
Hi.
Dad's here to give me a hand. It's not the way we wanted to do it. It's dark out and we're racing before the kids have to go to bed. So we're going to set you guys up on the tripod. No screwing around. We've done all the prep. You know what? I will screw around a little bit. It's dark in here, but cleaned out the ugly frame rails and painted them. And they actually came out really good. So
want some light?
no, it's all right. I talked about in the last video the patchwork we did, and that was the last thing, was just wire wheel. Once we wire wheeled it, they weren't nearly as bad as I thought, so I think we're good. So now we're going to stop screwing around. We're going to have to fit this thing in and out of the car a couple times, so we're going to set you guys up on the tripod and go in through the back window, which I think is the cleanest way to do it, especially if you still have rockers in most of a car, and try to get it fit in. I've had it about 95% fit up. We're going to go for that last 5-10%. Mark up where we have to drill the holes on the frame or on the floor to weld the frame rail. Take it out probably one more time, and then it'll be in for good. So we'll be right back. All right, we got to drag this thing outside and get all lined up. Oops, brake drum. And someone should clean up in here. All right, you're going to want to take the other side. Flip it towards me. Here, let me see it. I don't want to lay on the ground. Lay it down. Where's the drain hole? That's not going to work. There we go. All right. So we should be able to just lay it. Like, you can't slide it because there's all these like
I see.
grabby things.
Yep, I see it.
And what I end up doing, hold on. You can go in straighter than that. Bring it down. Hold on. Once you get to the point of no return, those two, we go one by one into the quarter window, and then you can kind of pick it up and bring it in like that. Yeah, see. And then once you feel good about it, set it down. I can hold it. You can go quarter window and like front door window there.
Let's go one more.
Well, I'm losing place of the grab.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, hold on. We might need to. All right, yep. That's okay. It's got to come up a little bit. Just got to kind of get the back down and then slide it back.
Okay, let's go up a little more.
All right, try to bring it, hold up and bring it as far back as we possibly can. Nope, that's not bad. Okay.
It's not bad at all.
So now what I have to do?
I'm like almost in. I need to come forward.
Yeah, it's because I gotta tap this. I need a dead blow. This is just like, it fits really tight to the rockers.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to, the cross braces were kind of flared out a little bit. I flattened them so they're kind of level with the flange on the, what's that one right there?
Come on, lift that up.
No, it's all right. Loud noise, people.
There you go.
And that's close.
Mm-hmm.
Just give that a tap on your edge there. Just like, is it touching the floor, the toe board up there?
Yeah.
Okay, that should be that one. All right. Can I have my light? I think I go underneath it and see if we're on the frame rails or not. That's as far back as I've ever had it, so. Holy shit.
Is it on?
It's all the way back. It's just got to come down like a hair. Actually, no, I don't even think it has to come down. I don't think it has to come down at all. But I think that this flange will kind of bend up. I kind of knocked this down to get out of the way. See your flanges? Those flats, those little flat, watch your head. Those flat ears coming off and that sit flat on that brace.
Yeah, can you get that light on my eyes?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thanks. Yeah.
So this one, mine is touching. Is yours touching on the outside?
Yeah, it's touching here.
Okay, so it's not touching on the inside. So we either got to bend the outside back a little bit or just hammer this one up a touch. And then I think that this will kind of push up because this has a curve to it anyway.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's not bad. Dude, that is
mint. I'm not touching on the
hey,
on the
horizontal. Don't shake it around that much. We'll be dead.
What's that?
Don't shake it around that much. We'll be dead. And YouTube won't let me upload this.
Sitting on the frame rails back there.
What horizontal are you not sitting on? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about
the
this
flange
horizontal.
There? Yeah, but it's close enough that if I run these kind of things are kind of bowed. I run a sheet metal screw through that, it'll suck the thing up.
True. Yeah, I agree.
That's closer than we've had it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's mint, dude. That's all it took was taking that stupid thing out of there.
I'm off.
Uh-oh, battery's dying.
I'm off on the more than I'd like to be. Yeah, come over here and look at this side.
All right.
Let's switch sides. Oh, look at yours. Maybe I'm not that bad off.
Here, grab that battery.
Yep. These only two you have?
No, I've got no. It's a 12 volt. Oh. I've only got two 18 volts right now, which I need to change. I've got a million 12 volts.
Is this one charged?
Good question. Put it on charger. Probably not. Oh, holy shit! I had two. Wow, it never happens. I had a creeper.
You have one.
I do have a creeper. Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, so I think your side needs to come back just a touch, and I think that'll bring...
Yeah, your side's a lot better.
See how my outside is touching?
Yeah.
The inside is not. So I think if we get your side back a touch, it'll bring yours in, and it'll bring my inside one up to it too just a little bit. That is mint, dude. This is like... Oh, yeah, we can close that gap up.
I think I'm...
Did you not change it?
No, it was still on, so I just let it go until it bitched at me.
How big a gap do you have around, like up to the floor itself?
Up to the floor,
like between the floor and the rocker. Because I've got a little bit of a gap. It's not terrible. I can actually close something with my hand.
No, same.
Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking if we suck that in with some zip ties and then I'll sheet metal screw it where I'm going to weld it.
Yeah.
And it'll be absolutely.
So the floor
fun.
pan flange is lower than the rocker flange on my side. Is yours like that?
The floor pan flange?
Yeah.
Oh, in the back? Yeah. In the back it is a little bit.
Well, all the way up to here.
Yeah. That's where it scoots up a little bit. That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
So what I'll probably do is I'll probably suck it up to the. I'll suck the frame rails up to it, and then I may just put the jack underneath and just push this up a touch just to kind of get this even. But I mean, we're talking. I mean, on my side, I'm talking like, God, not even an eighth inch. I don't think. It's only right here.
Right where?
Right here. Right. Once I get to here,
so I'm good back here. Up here, forward, I got some daylight coming through.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
How about yours?
Oh, same
I can
thing.
see the rocker flange is standing more proud than the floor pan.
Yeah, right. It's right here. Like the floor pan sits lower than rocker, just barely until like right here.
So this side, the floor pan's quite a bit lower than that.
That's fine. We can fix that.
Like here, me on.
I don't want to do that because look how big a gap it makes in the frame rail.
Yeah, I know.
I can fudge the rocker one. I'd rather have the frame rail be where it needs to be.
Yeah, but you want the floor to be in the right spot inside the car, though, too.
Yeah, it will be.
Okay,
it will be. We'll push all this up. It'll be just fine. Because if you get this held in there, you can. This will bow a little bit. You can bring this up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing this rocker. Is the outer rocker sat lower than the inner. All right, awesome. All right, let's get the people. All right, so you guys have seen, I think, the floor pan in the car. Maybe not close up, because you probably would have just seen it in background stuff. But gaps up here, I cut a lot of the trunk flange out because I'm replacing the trunk floor. So I just got it out of the way. And we're just not going to weld this, obviously, up here. So we can get underneath it. But she's in, and she's pretty happy. I've got a little bit of screwing around to do. Right here, we got some gapping. But this all moves pretty easy. We should be able to take care of that. And underneath... light. So you can see what I was talking, what we were yammering about. These flanges right here on the frame rail are supposed to sit flush on the. This is the bracket underneath the rear seat. This one is touching. The ones on that side are really, really close. They're just not quite touching. But I think, and my inside one, which I can't show you, is not touching either. So I think that if we bring the other side back a little, it'll bring them all together. And then this here, I'm not too worried about. This kind of goes up and curves anyway, and I hammered it down flat just to keep it out of the way. Figured that was easier to move than the floor. The floor didn't sit where I wanted it, but I can show you. We're tight to the frame rail there. A little bit of a gap there, but nothing. Some sheet metal screws won't fix, and I might even be getting held up by some of this old metal that I didn't take all the way out. So I think we're going to be golden. Yeah, your side on the inside looks, on the frame rail, it's sitting really tight. It's just the outside is actually sitting a little bit higher.
Which one? The side you're on now? Or
no,
the side
on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I can see the frame rail like facing me, where the floor is touching it. It's hitting it really. It's actually like right up to it. On the back too, the back going up.
Yeah.
Nice.
But on the outside,
there's a gap there.
yeah.
Those frame rails probably got a little screwy when I was air
Yeah.
hammering the old one off.
Mm,
But no, everything's pretty good. You can see a little gap up there to the toe board, but we can fix that. The driver's side of the toe board is absolutely mint. So, oh, I see what you're saying right here.
Yeah,
Sit down a little bit. Yeah, we can fix that. We can fix that.
This side's nicer over here. You got this little big gap here, but you got that over there too. A little longer on that side, but so we could put some vice grips and clamp that up. And
I like where this is sitting too. You can see the flange, how the trunk would kind of swoop down just behind it. That's about perfect.
Yeah, it is.
Which is going to make my trunk floor install that much easier. And it's got a little tiny gap to the frame rail too right there. So again, I'll have room to pry that back just a touch and be able to get the trunk floor in there. Anyway, we're gonna screw around, just try to finesse a little bit, make it perfect. And we'll be back. I'm thinking we're probably going to quit for the night once we get it where we like it and come back tomorrow to actually weld it in. So either update tonight or final install tomorrow. Stay tuned. All right, it's the next day. Dad's on his way over. We're going to hopefully get this floor put in today, but we got to run to the store because I ran out of weld through primer last night and didn't get everything done. Want to touch on one thing before the floor goes in. Just hammer home the point. A lot of you know, and if you don't know, hopefully it helps you, that these aftermarket panels are rarely perfect. So these ugly holes right there, these brackets were right there. I think it's for a seat belt, but I'm looking at where they were, and this bracket was actually, the floor is upside down right now on the stand. So this is actually the top. This is actually the back flange where it meets with the trunk. And this is like the top of it, obviously. So, Dad's here. This is sitting lower than this. Now, that just didn't seem right to me after we put it in. I was thinking, I looked back at some of my pictures, which always take pictures if you can. It helps. And in all my pictures, this piece looked like this hole looked like it was lower than that. So there's a little cutout, kind of hard to see. You kind of see this little notch right here. This is a low spot in the flange on the frame right here. And on the original, this was sitting in it like that, and it allows the rest of the floor to sit mostly flush up here to the flange. I'm pretty sure that where it was sitting closer up here, which is probably what was part of the thing that was screwing me up. So I cut these off. We're going to figure out how to patch up those holes, clean these up, and put them where they go, so we can figure that out. But Dad's here. We're going to run to the store, get our primer, and continue on. So bring you guys back when we're actually throwing the floor in, or if I have any other fun lessons learned for you. All right, new day. We had the floor in another time and ran into a couple of fitment issues, so we pulled it back out and we're just screwing with it a little bit, and I wanted to clean up some of the primer on the floor. And then I was up against a hard time deadline that day that kind of put us at an all stop, and we went into the work week. So Dad's on his way back. He'll be here shortly. And I went ahead this week while I had time and masked off the primer. And it was already black, so hard to see. But we went ahead and painted the bottom of the floor. We undercoated it. Everything except for, you see the transition right up against the edges where we're going to be welding. And then obviously anything that's got weld through primer and over here and all that. And I figure I left all this. I taped off this whole bracket there, and I figure what we'll end up doing is we'll get it in, and then I can just prime and undercoat these little areas as opposed to trying to lay on my back and do the entire thing, because that would be horrible. This stuff has a pretty strong scent to it, and I need a lift really, really badly. Maybe someday. This is just some cheap Rust-Oleum undercoating, the Pro Grade, whatever, if there's a difference. But honestly, it came out pretty nice. The only downside to it was that the tip gets pulled up with stuff real easily, and you get things like this right here. Little drop there, little drop there. It just starts spitting the drops out of the tip if you don't wipe it every 10 seconds or so. So you've got to be mindful of that. But other than that, the finish is pretty nice. So Dad's on his way. We're going to get this thing popped in. I'm probably not going to film that because you guys have already seen it at least once. And we are going to have to do some a little bit of funniness and creative work to get it to actually sit where we want it to and start welding it. So I'll probably bring you guys back when we're moving her around, flexing her, and we'll talk through actually getting her welded in the car. Hopefully. Be back. Okay, floor's in the car. Hopefully for good. Looks the same. Move. It looks the same as it did last time from this side, except for the fact that the gaps in the bottom are much, much better. She's pretty much where she needs to be. Man, that undercoating looks nice. So I'll bring you guys around to the side. I don't think so. And you can see the frame rail's a little wavy, but that'll all hammer up and this will move a little bit. I am just blocking in my hand. I'm sorry about that. But same thing under here. Everything's nice and tight. We did use the leaf spring pockets to kind of pull it down, and you can see the side a little bit too. It's right up to it, and that was where the problem was before. Even on the sides, oops, we had a problem where the lip here of the floor was sitting down lower than the rocker, and we've kind of remedied that. So she is in a much better place now. We actually were just test hanging the subframe to make sure all our body mounts still lined up. We're going to put that on at the end. So if you're worried, you guys will get to see that. Not much more to see over here, but it looks good. We did end up cutting out part of the inner wheelhouse there so I could clamp it because laziness hit me. But no, she's pretty well good. So if we can set y'all up on the tripod, maybe fast motion some of the welding, I'll do that. But honestly, unless you guys are into it, welding, in my opinion, is kind of boring, especially since I'm going to be under the car most of the time. So if we set it up and it's worth a damn, I'll include it. And if not, you guys will see it when it's done. We'll definitely come back when when we're hanging the subframe. Floor's finally going in. God, can you believe it? Man, we've even got some stuff to put on the inside of the car to really make it look like a car. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to set up the weld. We'll be right back. All right, we're a few days later. My camera died while I was fast motion welding. The timing's been a little strange here, so I'm just gonna do a quick recap. We started this on a Friday. Dad came over. We got the floor pan fit. We had to do all the kind of final fitment on that, make it look good. Took it back out with the intention of prepping it, and then he was going to come back the next day, and we were going to put it in and hopefully start welding. That didn't happen because I think I showed you guys the brackets for the seatbelt were a little too high on the floor. To take those off and re-weld those and patch those up. Ended up doing a lot of screwing around with that, and that day I was up against a hard deadline, had some family obligations, so that ran us into the work week. This has taken a little over a week to get to where we are now. So he came back, Dad came back next weekend. We went through Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. Came back next weekend, we got it in, started welding it in, and that's where we are now. Since I've been plugging away. Now this is a ton of welding. It's all under the car. It's horrible, and the car is, I'm not a small guy, and the car is not very high off the ground, and it's just awful. So I've kind of taken my time with it because it's not fun. And where we are now is where we left it. So she's in, mostly welded up there. Still have some screws up there on the tunnel. And we are actually working on, we're going to solid weld this whole thing as we go. We started doing it in places just to get it held nice and solid. We're going to attach all of those together as one continuous bead, little by little. Just don't want to warp anything or burn through anything, but you see we've got a lot over here as well. The underneath welding is pretty good, so we've got we're pretty good back here on the frame rail, where I'm holding off going all the way up until I get the trunk in, so I can still kind of move. I want to be able to bend this out a little bit, this flange right here, because the trunk floor actually goes underneath that. So we're holding off on getting too crazy with that. The one thing I have to do now, and if you've heard me talk about this, I'm sure a lot of other people, aftermarket panels, not always perfect. So we have a gap right here. Pretty healthy gap. I can get my finger in there. And obviously new floor. The toe board is new as well. So that's 2 chances for some sheet metal wonkiness. And, you know, anything I did that may not have been 100% perfectly aligned would also contribute to that. So all I'm going to do is right in the corner, I don't know why I took you out of the car, right in this corner here, I'm just going to make a little relief cut. Just right here, probably about back to about here. Push this down, push this in, and probably just cut a little pie piece out of my my sheet of 71 Nova sheet metal. Super authentic. Weld it in, weld this up solid. This is all going to get seam sealed and painted and have carpet over it. So no one will ever know the difference, and it'll be all sealed up perfectly solid and good to go. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's see if I can get you guys a good view. We're going to start cutting, we're going to start welding, and then hopefully we'll be in a position after that's done to pop the subframe on. That'll be pretty sweet. We've had it fit up once, so I know all the body mount locations line up. I'd like to get that hung. It was really sweet to see that as a car, and I'd like to have it there semi-permanently at least, because we've got some other fun stuff. Whole bunch of parts have come in. I went crazy Black Friday shopping for car parts. I don't usually do that, but some of the sales are just too good, and I couldn't help myself. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to set you guys up and start cutting and welding. All right, hopefully you guys can see a little bit of what's going on here. I've still got these braces on the door jamb, so I can't get in here too great myself. I need gloves. So yeah, I'm just going to make a small relief cut, as small as I can. I've got enough room between the 2 panels. I shouldn't nick anything underneath it. And if I do, oh well, I'll weld it up from the bottom, but it should be good. Just got to find the best way to get in here. I think I can just kind of just do one of these. Go backwards like this. We're going to try to go like this. Watch your ears. Should be all she wrote. All right, let's fire a couple sheet metal screws in there and see if she lays down. I should be able to just do one of these. That's touching all the way around. Now it's going to get one in there. I think we'll be golden. And I'm actually going to put the jack underneath that part of the toe board. If I can find where I put it. It's over here. I've already done this once. I know there's a little bit of movement in there. If I get the jack underneath it, it comes up a little bit. Not enough to avoid cutting it, but enough that it might just help kind of meet it in the middle a little bit. It's just one of those things. I mentioned it in another video about, you know, using what you need of the panel. Obviously, floor pan, when your floor is as trash as mine was, you're going to use the whole floor, but you can't be afraid to cut these things. A lot of people, and I'm included in that, when you first start doing one of these, it's a little bit, you know, you don't want to cut up your brand new shiny panel, but They're shiny and they look nice, but they're not perfect. There we go. That's pretty good. Might take that relief cut back just another hair. A little bit more. I might push that down as much as I need to. That ought to do it. Now, theoretically, I should be able to just hammer that down some. Let's see where exactly my jack is. So it's right underneath where I want to run a sheet metal screw. That sucks. All right, we can deal with that. I think if I run a screw through that, it'll just kind of pull it all up together. We're going to give that a try. And that's pretty much where it needs to be. Perfect. So I should be able to take some of the E-coat off there. Earballs again. That's all I wanted. And then I'm going to run the jack underneath there again, just to bring that one corner up as tight as I can. We'll throw a tack on it, and I think we'll be good to go. Let's not nick my, there we go. Yeah, that's golden. So what's going to be tough about that is, try to weld her up, is holding it and welding it all at once. Not one of my strengths, especially not when I really can't reach it, but we'll figure it out. That really didn't take a whole lot of metal out of there either. It really didn't split that much in the pie cut. I'll show you guys that in just a moment. Let's see what we can do. Man, what a pain. That's what we need. I'm not a fan of welding left-handed, but we're going to try. Oh, we got it. I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. I'm not good at anything left-handed. Yeah, that'll hold. Let me show you guys what we're dealing with. There she is. That's really all it took. We had the gap right there. That's all now down nice and tight. Just one little tack weld on there. Screw hole right there. This is back just a little bit, but again, that'll be absolutely fine. We'll maybe reinforce that in the future. That's all we got for a gap right there, so that's not too bad. And again, I can hammer that down, bring that curve in a little bit. This screw right here sucked it right in. This is pretty much touching where I want it, so we should be able to probably just hammer that one a little bit, weld that one up, and start pulling these screws out going up. Finish the tunnel, finish this up. In addition to going all in here, this whole seam in here, I'm probably also, just for good measure, going to stitch weld all on the front. Then might even do something along the bottom. I don't see the downside to adding more welds, just to make sure that she's all held in solid. The floor on these subframe cars is the frame of the car, essentially. So more weld is best weld as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to do a little bit of hammer work on that and just throw a few welds in there just to make sure it's held in where I want it. And we'll finish that up. I want to get to a point where I'm not welding over where the subframe goes anymore, because I don't want to hang the subframe where I need to weld on it with that nice, pretty black paint. So we're going to wrap that up and we'll hopefully come back, hang the subframe. That may not be tonight. I've got to paint. I want to paint these things. I should have waited because the subframe's going to come off. But these are the spacers that go over the body mounts in the front. And I want to get some primer on them and paint them black. They were rusty and ugly. I'm going to take this off again. I probably could have waited on that. And if I'd done that, I probably could have hung the subframe tonight. But at least then it's done. So we're going to probably finish painting those. And I'll come back probably tomorrow night after work to hang the subframe and wrap this up. Be right back. Okay, we're back, and not as far along as I had planned, and I think we're gonna cut some things out from here for a couple reasons. Just haven't gotten as much done as I had hoped. It's, you know, holiday season, Christmas time, 2 young kids, it's a busy time of year. Been spending a lot more time at work lately and a lot more time working on the wife and I's daily drivers, which isn't as much fun as this, but it needs to be done. So I haven't had as much time out here working on the Nova as I'd like in the last, couple weeks. That's part of the reason that this, floor install, which if you had a full weekend to devote to it, you could absolutely do. I don't have that. I have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours at a time if I'm lucky. And it's just, the time just isn't there, and I'm already way behind on uploading, so we're going to try to get this out. But where we are right now, I've been doing some more welding. So like I said, we're going to solid weld this whole seam here, which is a little bit unconventional, but it's not going to hurt anything. That'll get slathered with seam sealer anyway. So we're working on that. The rockers on the inside are all painted and coated. So I got to be really careful when I do that. Just kind of take my time, do a little bit at a time, let it cool down, make sure I'm checking it, keep an eye on it. I try to put air to it and cool it down after I do it. We did make a piece in here to fill in this hole from where I put my pie cut, push everything down so you can see we're welded here. It's a little ugly right now. We're not done, but we're going to clean all that up. We started working up here on the tunnel and just working our way down. So this is pretty much good. I got a little bit more, just a couple little gaps to fill in. Can't really see it too well from where I am, but I checked it from underneath. But that's pretty good. I'll actually show you the workbench, what we did to make that happen. So just made a piece. Ooh, that's sharp. Bigger piece of metal and just kind of put this little break into here to mimic what's on the front of the floor pan, and then just cut a sliver off it to fit the hole. So totally necessary to do that? Probably not, because when you fill it up with weld, you probably cover it up anyway. But I had a bunch of scrap sheet metal, a little bit of time, and it wasn't all that hard. And sometimes those little details make a difference. The other side's kind of the same deal. Reaching through the car, kind of stupid. Then I've got to do some work up here, so we've still got a few sheet metal screws in. They're held down where they need to be. I just got to weld up the front of them, and then I can go back and do the actual rosette welds or the plug welds in there. Like I said, we're probably gonna, stitch weld or lap weld this all the way down just to give it a little extra. I don't think that we're ever gonna be in trouble structurally on this thing. The one thing I was gonna show you that we ended up doing when we put this thing in, so excuse me while I get under the car. This is one of the things that held us up the first time, was we put the leaf spring pockets in, and that really made a difference when it came, did that help a little bit? That made a difference when it came to actually sucking the floor down to the frame rail. As you can see that we're pretty tight everywhere we need to be. So these things, there's a bolt right here on the frame, and then there's one right here, and there's another one way up here. So 2 on the floor, and then 1 on the frame. So when you get that all lined up and you get all the bolts in and you just kind of suck it down, it does just that. It'll pull the whole floor right down, and it makes a difference. I mean, you can see this side over here. It's pretty much touching all the way around, so no problems there. I'm being a little bit... What'd I do? Are we back? Man, I almost knocked my microphone receiver out. I'm being a little ginger back here because just in case we get into the meat of these when the trunk comes out and they're just nasty, rotten, gone, I don't want to have the entire world to cut out from here. So we're going to get enough on here to make it structurally sound while we continue to work on the rest of the car. But just be careful about how crazy we go in case we got to take it out. So that's where we're at. I'm going to wrap this one up for you guys so we can get this out. That's the floor install for the most part on the Nova. The rest of it is just welding. Tons and tons and tons of welding. We're plug welding through the floor to the rockers from the underside. That's also where the end caps on the frame rails are, the support rails. Excuse me, God, I have a cold or something. On the support rails to the floor to the rocker, or from the floor to the rocker are. Ton of welding under there, welding on the frame rails, both from the top side and the bottom side. Bottom side isn't really factory style, but again, we're just going to kind of go crazy and make sure that we get it nice and sturdy. So underneath the car is about 95% done. Inside the car, all of the factory style or factory location plug welds, same thing, about 90-95% are done. I just got to finish doing the seam and all the extra stitch welding on the front, or the lap welding on the front, and then that'll be wrapped up. So next, we've got a few things coming we're going to work on. I'm still fighting myself on what I'm going to do about the front suspension, but I did order a brake kit. We're doing front disc. That is here. So I just need to figure out if I'm going to buy new control arms or rebuild what I have. That's the one decision I have left before that's ready to go. So in getting ready for that, the subframe will be going on the car. Like I said, we've got all the bushings for that. We're fixing up our spacers. And I'm probably also at some point, and this may or may not be in one video, depends on how long it ends up being, we're going to pull the rear end in here, pull the cover off that, drain it out. I'm sure that diff fluid looks just fantastic. I'd like to see what gear is in it. I'm sure it's going to be something lame, so I'll probably be buying a gear at some point. That's way down the road, but maybe I'll get lucky. I know it has a posi in it. I'd like to see what that looks like. And yeah, maybe we get lucky with the gear, and I really have something to look forward to. But we're going to bring that in, clean that up as well. And once the floor is all welded in, we can pull these stupid supports off, and I like to refit the doors. And don't everyone leave all at once. I know it's not the most glamorous thing, but that'll tell us, let me verify that our gaps stayed where they should be. And we also went ahead, and they're not here yet, so I'm not sure why I turned it around. But when we do the doors, I bought door skins, and I'm going to go with door skins instead of replacement doors for a couple of reasons. Just one, door skins aren't all that hard to do. They're tedious, but they're really not that difficult. Man, I'm sorry, I can't get over what this car looks like with a floor in it. It's been so long since it had any semblance of a floor, and even when I got it, it was horrible. Scatterbrain. Anyway, door skins, they're tedious, but they're not all that hard. And another way to ensure that my gaps all stay good, I've complained about aftermarket panels. Just trying to take one little less risk there. The doors do need some love, but the inner framework looks pretty solid, and anything that isn't great, I'm pretty sure I can fix. So we're going to do door skins. That'll, again, then I can refit those. The hinges will still be the same and all that, and that's another reason I don't want to go with aftermarket doors, aside from the price, is aftermarket doors are all bolt-on hinge. These, weld-on hinge. And going bolt on the door, weld on the car, you can do it. I've heard it's a bit of a pain, and I question how well the bushings and changing of door pins and all that goes when you kind of go that route. So I'm definitely not going to convert the car to bolt on. I would have had to do that sooner when I had more access, and I'm not going backwards now. So door skins are coming. Disc brake kit is here. Diff is outside. We're going to pull that in and work on that. We're going to get the subframe hung, and in some order, one or the other, the front end will be going on. The rear may be getting at least looking nice again, and probably getting rehung at some point. I'd like to sometime soon get this thing back down on its wheels so I can move it. Suspension, front suspension will be going together. Rear suspension probably going back in as it was for now, just for the sake of getting it on wheels. And then we'll have new door skins on it. So a lot is coming. Not sure what the order is going to be yet. I'll know more the next time I talk to you guys. But I'm rambling. Floors in the car. I think it looks just fantastic. A big shout out to my dad. He spent like 3 nights here with me, or a Friday night and then 2 Saturdays here helping me with this thing. So came out really, really good, and it's not moving. All I have to do is for me to crawl underneath it, finish welding it, and reach over these stupid braces and weld the inside of the car, which is not fun, but it's not impossible. Wow, what a difference. Anyway, before I keep staring at my car along with you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you drop a comment down below, drop a like on it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you think it's coming along. I am loving it. and it's really kind of got me juiced back up again. I was getting a little bit, I don't want to say bored, but a lot of tedious work I've been doing. This kind of makes it worth it. So a lot more parts here and coming than I've had in quite a while. So we'll have a lot more stuff coming. Going to try to keep it coming as regularly as I can. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're enjoying the holiday season with your family, friends, and hopefully your hot rods. So in between eating and gift shopping, get out there and build something. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.